Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Eat, Breathe, and Pray. It is Thursday, the 8th of May of 2025, and it is currently 6:10 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States of America. And we are here for our, welcome to Eat, Breathe, and Pray, by the way. And we are here for our Through the Bible in 1 Year reading. Today is day 128 of Through the Bible in 1 Year, and our reading today is from 2 Samuel chapters 10 through 14. So if you have your Bible there, grab it so that you can read along. And if for whatever reason you do not have a Bible, you are unable to get one for yourself, please let us know. You can private message us, and we will make arrangements to get a Bible to you. It's vitally important that you have the Word of God available for you to be in the Word, not just daily, but several times throughout the day. Before we get started, let's take a moment just to still ourselves before the Lord. Oh, Father, we thank you. We thank you and praise you for this day, for the gift of life, of breath, sunshine, and spring rains, for your great love for us that you have poured out upon us. Thank you for your blessings. Multiply your blessings upon each person listening this morning. Open up our hearts, our minds, our souls, our spirits to hear your word. To enter in to your presence, to see your face. You are holy. You are worthy. We present ourselves to you as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable in the beloved Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus our Messiah. This is where our daily service of worship begins, right here, right now. We put aside everything else. We put aside all that would distract us from your presence, and we enter in. With our mouths full of praise and worship for you, and our hearts full of awe and wonder. And from this place of your presence, this place of sweet communion with you, let's hear the word. Your word, O Yahweh. 2 Samuel chapters 10 through 14. Now it happened afterwards that the king of the sons of Ammon died, and Hanan, his son, became king in his place. So David said, I will show loving kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash, just as his father showed loving kindness to me. So David sent to comfort him concerning his father by the hand of his servants. And David's servants came to the land of the sons of Ammon. But the princes of the sons of Ammon said to Hanun, their lord, in your eyes is David honoring your father because he has sent comforters to you? Has David not sent his servants to you in order to search the city, to spy it out and to overthrow it? So Hanun took David's servants and shaved off half of their beards and cut off their garments in the middle as far as their hips and sent them away. Then they told it to David, and he sent to meet them, for the men were greatly dishonored. And the king said, stay at Jericho until your beards grow, and then return. Then the sons of Ammon saw that they had become odious to David. So the sons of Ammon sent and hired the Arameans of Beth Rehob and the Arameans of Zobah, 20,000 foot soldiers. And the king of Maachah with 1,000 men, and the men of Tob with 2,000 men. Then David heard of it and sent Joab and all of the army, the mighty men, and the sons of Ammon came out and arranged themselves for battle at the entrance of the gate of the city. But the Arameans of Zobah and of Rehob and the men of Tob and Maachah were by themselves in the field. Then Joab saw that the battle was set against him from the front and from the rear. So he chose from all of the choice men of Israel, and they arranged themselves to meet the Arameans. But the remainder of the people he put in the hand of Abishai, his brother, and he arranged them to meet the sons of Ammon. And he said, if the Arameans are too strong for me, then you shall save me. But if the sons of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will come to save you. Be strong, and let us show strength for the sake of our people and for the cities of our God, and may Yahweh do what is good in his sight. So Joab and the people who were with him drew near for the battle against the Arameans, and they fled before him. Now the sons of Ammon saw that the Arameans fled, so they also fled before Abishai and came into the city. And then Joab returned from fighting against the sons of Ammon and came to Jerusalem. Then the Arameans saw that they had been defeated by Israel, so they gathered themselves together. And Hadadezer sent and brought out the Arameans who were beyond the river, and they came to Helam, and Shobach, the commander of the army of Hadadezer, led them. And it was told David, so he gathered all Israel together and crossed the Jordan and came to Helam. And the Arameans arranged themselves to meet David and fought against him. But the Arameans fled before Israel, and David killed the Arameans, 700 charioteers and 40,000 horsemen, and struck down Shobach, the commander of their army, and he died there. Then all of the kings, the servants of Hadadezer, saw that they were defeated by Israel, so they made peace with Israel and served them. And the Arameans were afraid to save the sons of Ammon anymore. Now it happened in the spring, at the time when kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the sons of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David stayed at Jerusalem. Now when evening came, David arose from his bed and walked around on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful in appearance. So David sent and inquired about the woman. And one said, is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Then David sent messengers and took her, And she came to him, and he lay with her. And when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. And the woman became pregnant, and she sent and told David and said, I am pregnant. Then David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. So Joab sent Uriah to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked concerning the state of Joab and the state of the people and the state of the war. Then David said to Uriah, Go down to your house and wash your feet. And Uriah went out of the king's house, and a present from the king went out after him. But Uriah lay down at the door of the king's house with all of the servants of his lord, and did not go down to his house. Then they told David, saying, Uriah did not go down to his house. And David said to Uriah, Have you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house? And Uriah said to David, The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in booths, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are camping in the open field. Shall I then go to my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? By your life and the life of your soul, I will not do this thing. Then David said to Uriah, Stay here today also, and tomorrow I will send you out. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. Then David called him, and he ate and drank before him, and he made him drunk. And in the evening he went out to lie on his bed with his lord's servants, but he did not go down to his house. Now it happened in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he had written in the letter, saying, Place Uriah in the front line of the fiercest battle and withdraw from him so that he may be struck down and die. So it was, as Joab kept watch on the city, that he put Uriah at the place where he knew there were valiant men. And the men of the city went out and fought against Joab. And some of the people among David's servants fell, and Uriah the Hittite also died. Then Joab sent and told David all of the events of the war. And he commanded the messenger, saying, When you have finished telling all of the servants of the war to the king, all of the events of the war to the king, and if it happens that the king's wrath rises and he says to you, Why did you approach the city to fight? Did you not know that they would shoot from the wall? Who struck down Abimelech, the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast an upper millstone on him from the wall, and so he died at Thebez? Why did you approach the wall? Then you shall say, Your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and told David all that Joab had sent him to tell. And the messenger said to David, The men prevailed against us and came out against us in the field, but we pressed them in as far as the entrance of the gate. And the archers shot at your servants from the wall. So some of the king's servants died, and your servant Uriah the Hittite also died. Then David said to the messenger, Thus you shall say to Joab, Do not let this thing be evil in your sight, for the sword devours one as well as another. Make your battle against the city stronger and tear it down. And so strengthen him. Then the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, had died. So she lamented over her husband. Then the time of mourning passed by, and David sent and gathered her to his house, and she became his wife. Then she bore him a son, but the thing that David had done was evil in the sight of Yahweh. Then Yahweh sent Nathan to David, and he came to him and said, There were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had a great many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing except one little ewe lamb, which he bought and nourished. And it grew up together with him and his children. It would eat his morsel of bread and drink of his cup and lie in his bosom, and was like a daughter to him. Now a visitor came to the rich man, and he was unwilling to take from his own flock or his own herd to prepare for the traveler who had come to him. Rather, he took the poor man's ewe lamb and prepared it for the man who had come to him. Then David's anger burned greatly against the man, and he said to Nathan, "As Yahweh lives, surely the man who has done this deserves to die. And he must make restitution for the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing and had no compassion." Nathan then said to David, "You are the man. Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, it is I who anointed you king over Israel, and it is I who delivered you from the hand of Saul. I also gave you and your master's house and your master's wives. I also gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your care, and I gave you the house of Israel and Judah. And if that had been too little, I would have added to you many more things than these. Why have you despised the word of Yahweh by doing evil in his sight? You have struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword, have taken his wife to be your wife, and have killed him with the sword of the sons of Ammon. So now the sword shall never depart from your house, because you have despised me and have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Thus says Yahweh, behold, I will raise up evil against you from your own household. I will even take your wives from before your sight and give them to your companion, and he will lie with your wives in the sight of this son. Indeed, you did it in secrecy, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun." Then David said to Nathan, "I have sinned against Yahweh." And Nathan said to David, "Yahweh also has taken away your sin. You shall not die. However, because of this deed, you have given occasion to the enemies of Yahweh to blaspheme. The son also that is born to you shall surely die." And Nathan went to his house. Then Yahweh smote the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, so that he was very sick. David therefore sought God about the boy, and David fasted and went and spent the night lying on the ground. And the elders of his household stood beside him in order to raise him up from the ground, but he was unwilling and would not eat food with them. Then it happened on the seventh day that the child died. And the servants of David were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they said, "Behold, while the child was still alive, we spoke to him, and he did not listen to our voice. How then can we tell him that the child has died? He might do himself harm." And David saw that his servants were whispering together, so David discerned that the child had died. So David said to his servants, "Has the child died?" And they said, "He has died." So David arose from the ground, washed, anointed himself, and changed his clothes, and he came into the house of Yahweh and worshipped. And then he came to his own house, and he asked, and they set food before him, and he ate. Then his servant said to him, "What is this thing that you have done? While the child was alive, you fasted and wept. But when the child died, you arose and ate food." Then he said, "While the child was still alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, who knows, Yahweh may be gracious to me, that the child may live. But now he has died. Why should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him, but he will not return to me." Then David comforted his wife Bathsheba and went into her and lay with her, and she gave birth to a son, and he named him Solomon. Now Yahweh loved him and sent word by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he named him Jedediah for the sake of Yahweh. Then Joab fought against Rabbah of the sons of Ammon, and captured the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, "I have fought against Rabbah and have even captured the city of waters. So now gather the rest of the people together and camp against the city and capture it, lest I capture the city myself and it be named after me. So David gathered all of the people and went to Rabbah, fought against it, and captured it. Then he took the crown of the king from his head, and its weight was a talent of gold, and in it was a precious stone, and it was placed on David's head. And he brought out the spoil of the city in a very great amount. He also brought out the people who were in it and set them up with saws, sharp iron instruments, and iron axes, and made them pass through the brick kiln. And thus he used to do with all of the cities of the sons of Ammon. Then David and all of the people returned to Jerusalem. Now it happened afterwards that Absalom, the son of David, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar, and Ammon, the son of David, loved her. And Ammon was so distressed because of his sister Tamar that he made himself ill, for she was a virgin. So it was hard on in Ammon's sight to do anything to her. But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother, and Jonadab was a very shrewd man. And he said to him, "O son of the king, why are you so depressed morning after morning? Will you not tell me?" Then Ammon said to him, "I am in love with Tamar, the sister of my brother Absalom." Jonadab then said to him, "Lie down on your bed and pretend to be ill, and your father will come to you to see you, and you will say to him, 'Please let my sister Tamar come and give me some food to eat, and let her prepare the food in my sight, that I may see it and eat from her hand.'" So Ammon lay down and pretended to be ill, and the king came to see him, and Ammon said to the king, "Please let my sister Tamar come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat from her hand." Then David sent to the house for Tamar, saying, "Go now to your brother Amnon's house and prepare food for him." So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was lying down, and she took dough, kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and baked the cakes. And she took the pan and dished them out before him. But he refused to eat. And Amnon said, "Have everyone go out from me." So everyone went out from him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food into the bedroom, that I may eat it from your hand." So Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them into the bedroom to her brother Amnon. Then she brought them near to him to eat, but he took hold of her and said to her, "Come, lie with me, my sister." But she said to him, "No, my brother, do not violate me, for such a thing is not done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful thing. As for me, where could I go to get rid of my reproach? And as for you, you will be like one of the wicked fools in Israel. So now please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you." But he was not willing to listen to her voice. Now he was stronger than she, so he violated her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her with a very great hatred, for the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, "Get up, go away." But she said to him, "No, because this wrong in sending me away is greater than the other that you have done to me." But he was not willing to listen to her. Then he called his young man who attended him and said, "Now cast this woman out of my presence and lock the door behind her." Now she had on a long-sleeved garment, for in this manner the virgin daughters of the king dressed themselves in robes. Then his attendant took her out and locked the door behind her. Then Tamar put ashes on her head and tore her long-sleeved garment, which was on her, and she put her hand on her head and went away, crying aloud as she went. So Absalom, her brother, said to her, "Has Amnon your brother been with you? But now keep silent, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this matter to heart." So Tamar remained as desolate in her brother's Absalom's house. Now when King David heard of all these matters, he was very angry. But Absalom did not speak to Amnon either good or bad, for Absalom hated Amnon because he had violated his sister Tamar. Now it happened after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hazor, which is near Ephraim, and Absalom invited all of the king's sons. And Absalom came to the king and said, "Behold, now your servant has sheep shearers. Please let the king and his servants go with your servant." But the king said to Absalom, "No, my son, we should not all go, for we will be burdensome to you." Although he urged him, he was not willing to go, but blessed him. Then Absalom said, "If not, please let my brother Amnon go with us." And the king said to him, "Why should he go with you?" But Absalom urged him, so he sent Amnon and all of the king's sons with him. When Absalom had commanded his young men, saying, "See now, when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say to you, 'Strike Amnon,' then put him to death. Do not fear. Have not I myself commanded you? Be strong and be valiant." Thus the young men of Absalom did to Amnon, just as Absalom had commanded. Then all of the king's sons arose, and each mounted his mule and fled. Now it was while they were on the way that the report came to David, saying, "Absalom has struck down all of the king's sons, and not one of them is left." Then the king arose, tore his clothes, and lay on the ground. And all of his servants were standing by with clothes torn. But Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother, answered and said, "Do not let my lord suppose that they have put to death all of the young men, the king's sons, for Amnon alone has died, because by the intent of Absalom this has been set since the day that he violated his sister Tamar. So now do not let my lord the king take the report to heart, saying all of the king's sons have died, for only Amnon has died." Then Absalom fled, and the young man who was the watchman raised his eyes and looked, and behold, many people were coming from the road behind him by the side of the mountain. And Jonadab said to the king, "Behold, the king's sons have come. According to your servant's word, so it happened." As soon as he finished speaking, behold, the king's sons came and lifted their voices and wept, and also the king and all of his servants wept very bitterly. Now Absalom had fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, the king of Geshur, and David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom had fled and gone to Geshur, and was there 3 years. And the heart of King David was consumed with going out to Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, since he had died. Now Joab, the son of Zeruiah, knew that the king's heart was inclined toward Absalom. So Joab sent to Tekoa and brought a wise woman from there and said to her, "Please pretend to be a mourner and put on mourning garments now, and do not anoint yourself with oil, but be like a woman who has been mourning for the dead many days. Then you shall go to the king and speak to him in this manner." So Joab put the words in her mouth. So the woman of Tekoa spoke to the king, and she fell on her face to the ground and prostrated herself and said, "Save, O king." And the king said to her, "What is your trouble?" And she answered, "Truly, I am a widow. My husband has died, and your servant woman had 2 sons, but the 2 of them struggled together in the field, and there was no one to deliver them between them. So one struck the other and put him to death. And behold, the whole family has arisen against your servant woman, and they say, 'Hand over the one who struck his brother, that we may put him to death for the life of his brother, whom he killed, and destroy the heir also.' Thus they will extinguish my coal which remains, so as to leave my husband neither name nor remnant on the face of the earth. Then the king said to the woman, "Go to your house, and I will give a command concerning you." And the woman of Tekoa said to the king, "O my lord the king, the iniquity is on me and my father's house, but the king and his throne are guiltless." So the king said, "Whoever speaks to you, bring him to me, and he will not touch you anymore." Then she said, "Please let the king remember Yahweh your God, so that this avenger of blood will not continue to bring about ruin, so that they would not destroy my son." And he said, "As Yahweh lives, not one hair of your son shall fall to the ground." Then the woman said, "Please let your servant woman speak a word to my lord the king." And he said, "Speak." Then the woman said, "Why then have you thought up such a thing against the people of God? For in speaking this word, the king is as one who is guilty, in that the king does not bring back his banished one. For we will surely die, and are like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Yet God does not take away life, but thinks up ways so that the banished one will not be cast out from him. So now the reason I have come to speak this word to my lord the king is that the people have made me afraid. So your servant woman said, let me now speak to the king. Perhaps the king will perform the word of his maidservant. For the king will listen and deliver his maidservant from the hand of the man who would destroy both me and my son from the inheritance of God." Then your servant woman said, "Please let the word of my lord the king be a resting place. For as the angel of God, so is my lord the king, to listen with discernment through the good and evil. And may Yahweh your God be with you." Then the king answered and said to the woman, "Please do not hide anything from me that I am about to ask you." And the woman said, "Let my lord the king please speak." So the king said, "Is the hand of Joab with you in all of this?" And the woman answered and said, "As your soul lives, my lord the king, no one can turn to the right nor to the left from anything that my lord the king has spoken. Indeed, it was your servant Joab who commanded me, and it was he who put all of these words into the mouth of your servant woman. In order to change the appearance of things, your servant Joab has done this thing. But my lord is wise, like the wisdom of the angel of God, to know all that is in the earth." Then the king said to Joab, "Behold, now I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring back the young man, Absalom." And Joab fell on his face to the ground and prostrated himself and blessed the king. And then Joab said, "Today your servant knows that I have found favor in your sight, O my lord the king, in that the king has performed the word of his servant." So Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. However, the king said, "Let him turn to his own house and let him not see my face." So Absalom turned to his own house and did not see the king's face. Now in all Israel was no one as handsome as Absalom, so highly praised, from the sole of his foot to the top of his head. There was no defect in him. And when he shaved the hair of his head, and it was at the end of every year that he shaved it, for it was heavy on him, so he shaved it. He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels by the king's weight. And to Absalom there was born 3 sons and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar, and she was a woman of beautiful appearance. Now Absalom lived 2 full years in Jerusalem and did not see the king's face. Then Absalom sent for Joab and said to him, and to send him to the king, but he was not willing to come to him. So he sent again a second time, but he was not willing to come. Therefore he said to his servants, "See, Joab's portion of land is next to mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire." So Absalom's servants set the portion of land on fire. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom at his house and said to him, "Why have your servants set my portion of land on fire?" And Absalom answered, Joab, "Behold, I sent for you, saying, 'Come here, that I may send you to the king to say, why have I come from Geshur? It would be better for me still to be there. So now let me see the king's face, and if there is iniquity in me, let him put me to death.'" So Joab came to the king and told him, and he called for Absalom. Thus he came to the king and prostrated himself on his face to the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. And that is the end of our reading for this morning. Join us later today, 12 noon, for our midday prayer focus, and 4:30 this afternoon for our Bible study, and 7:30 this evening for our daily devotion. And in the meantime, go in the knowledge and the awareness of the presence of God with you, of his great love for you, and of his Holy Spirit dwelling in you. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for the people of Israel. Pray the promises and the prophecies of Scripture over them. And pray without ceasing for whatever it is that God has called you to, whatever he has given you influence over or authority over. Pray from that place of his presence, that place of stillness and rest, where you can hear his voice and know his heart, so that you know that what you're praying is coming straight from the heart of the Father. And be blessed and be a blessing.